Welcome to Out of Office, where we keep it real after work. It's your girl Ness.
And it's your girl Jay. And y'all can see us.
Or hear us still, because we started off in podcast form or whatever. But those of y'all who know us, you know our facial expressions are really everything. So we decided, to add a little something.
Let's add a little splash of our faces. But no, I'm excited. I think that when we had the YouTube show, I feel like you could see more of our personalities come to life. So now we got the video. We're still going to have the audio version because we know that everyone has their own preferences for how they want to listen. So if y'all still want to turn us on when you driving to work, nobody's commuting, but whatever you do.
People are commuting. They're going
I guess they are trying to make us go back in the office, but you can still find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But now, if you laying in a bed, you got your little YouTube and you want to pull us up on the big screen, baby, we here. So
on the socials.
Okay. Got a little bit for everybody. But yes, I'm so excited to see your face.
I know. It's so good to see you.
But girl, okay, so I am so excited for today's episode.
Girl, me too. Because it's like, while many people are still in the office, this is still out of office. Okay. So I'm excited because today, y'all, we are going to talk about corporate lingo and corporate talk. So that's the name of the episode, is corporate talk. This has been, heavily demanded because it's just so funny. Like, the things we say at work, the terms we use, it's crazy, Jay. So I'm excited because I hope this is, hilarious and relatable.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, no, corporate talk, it's just sometimes I'm talking at work and I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Who is this? I don't even know who I am because I've never said these phrases before, but they just come out so naturally when you're at work. Sometimes I just start laughing at myself in my head because I'm like, girl, do you even know what you're talking about?
Oh, for real. Or sometimes I'll be like, did I really just say that? I did this presentation and I killed it and I used so many, and it just rolls off your tongue, off your head, off the dome. You're like, oh my God, am I being taken?
I'm a corporate baddie for real. I got the lingo to unpack. What? But okay, so I feel like in this, since the pandemic started, there have been a lot of TikTok videos, a lot of tweets and memes about just corporate lingo. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh my God, I can relate 100%.
Me too.
So what are some of your go-tos or ones that you use all the time when you're in the office or whatever, you're online?
Yeah, I can take this. You want me to take a stab at that? Stab. Why are we saying that? Aligned is definitely the one. Aligned. Yep, we're aligned. Looking for alignment. Is everyone aligned?
We need to make sure we're aligned because people be acting confused. It's before we hang up this call, are we aligned? Because you're not going to be circling back with me next week.
Yeah.
We're not double clicking into this anymore. Okay, we are done with this. Let's make sure we are aligned.
What kills me is aligned is so used and it's helpful, which is why I feel it also you start saying it with your friends yep, I'm aligned. Wait, did somebody put in the group trip? Yep, aligned to the cause. Why are we talking this way? I definitely didn't even really know what aligned meant in the right context before I started working in corporate.
I feel like we knew what aligned meant, but that's just not how we talk. When we're talking to our homegirls, it's just girl, we good. Why are we saying I'm aligned with the trip details? I hit my best friend with that, and she said, "Stop talking to me like you at work." And I was like, "I'm sorry. It's just I can't separate it." But what about have you ever been on a presentation or on a meeting and somebody starts sharing their screen and then they're like, I'm sorry about this eye chart, and it's just
I put too much words on the slide.
But at first I was eye chart, I was confused. I had never heard that before.
I've never heard. No, I was just sitting there like, I got bad vision. I go to the doctor, and like the eye chart doesn't look like what it's too much. Eye chart, man. We even made a list. Let me look at this. Some of these are funny. Let's get the ball rolling.
It's like, okay, girl, let's just get the project started. Like,
let's get the ball rolling. What ball? What type of ball? It's like
no, like this. You said what?
Circle back on this.
That one gets on my nerves. Circle back.
Everyone says let's circle back, and they never be circling back. I feel like they say, "Yep, let's circle back." That's code word for like, yeah, we ignored what you just said, and eventually
it's either let's circle back or let's table that. When you say let's table that, that means that's not my purpose for this meeting today. We're gonna table that for another day, because I hate when you're in meetings and it's like somebody wants to come in and add extra to the project that's already time consuming, and it's like, sis,
you're doing the most.
Why are you adding? And you're probably not going to be trying to work on it. You're going to pass it off to me, and it's let's table that.
No,
that means
you're adding, it's just one more build.
No more builds. Like no, funny story. So, like, I started working at a new company, and what I realized is that some corporate lingo does not translate to all corporate companies, because I was sending an email. And she had said something to me, and I like responded back. We'd be like, see responses below in yellow, or see responses below in red.
Why do we do that? Why?
Right, and then somebody was like, see my responses back in purple, see mine back in green. It's like, all right, cut it. Like, let's just start a whole new thread. Now we got a damn rainbow
at that point.
A rainbow to thread. But anyways, I had said, see my responses below in red, and she said something, and I was like, no builds here. Basically, I was saying, like, I don't have anything else to add. And so she followed back up and was like, I'm not following. What do you mean by no builds? And I was like,
that's another one.
I was like, just no additions, # corporate lingo. She probably was like, this girl coming in here with this new mess. But yes, another one that's super they pull all the time is I'm putting out a fire. It's like, sis.
They'll be like, oh, I'm like dealing with a major fire drill. Like, girl, stop. You sitting at the desk and you a little stressed. It's like so dramatic. Sorry, I have a couple fires to put out today, and it's like, I've been using that too. Basically, like, I'm stressed. Sis. Don't try to add another thing to the plate.
Girl, putting out them fires. I'm like, y'all really be stressed out. But when you do have those days where it's like, I have to get something done, and then you got that coworker that just keep pinging you about something. It's like,
I don't have the capacity. I don't have the capacity. Child, when I remember my first time, one of my coworkers hit me with that. She was like, yeah, I'm not sure I have the bandwidth. And I'm sitting here like, like, I swear, I was like, what is she talking about? And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, oh, so you don't want to do the work, is what you're saying.
Or when you go to your manager and you're trying to let your manager know, I don't have the bandwidth for all these projects that you're giving me. I'm at capacity. So you be like, I just want to make sure that we're clear on priorities. I just want to map out what I've been working on over the week. And if you want this accomplished, we're going to have to knock some things off. So can you help me understand what my capacity is?
Right. I would love to understand how to prioritize what's on my plate so we can free up some capacity for me to give some optimal results. Like, I
am dead. What about low-hanging fruit? They love some low-hanging fruit, girl.
Just say you see an opportunity.
There's some low-hanging fruit there. It's like, okay. Like,
is that it? Like, low-hanging fruit, is that like a biblical term? Like, I really be wanting to know like the origin of these terms.
No,
like,
I don't know. Are like, because the thing about it, you know what? At first, I was like, I was thinking like, oh, this corporate lingo. I was just associating it with like corporate America, and I associate corporate America with like whiteness because, And so I was thinking like, these are just maybe like white people terms. But then you see, like, even like my white besties are like talking about the same thing. They're like, girl, I don't talk like this outside of work. I didn't know these terms either. So it really is just like corporate jargon that we all have like come together and we just use.
Yeah.
But I feel like none of us really know it, and we just start using it, and it just becomes a part of our like corporate DNA. Because I have literally, like I said, been talking, and I am having an outer body experience because I am not aware of who I am when I'm talking. I'm like, what words?
No, but the thing is, it's kind of scary because you literally just like the code switching be so real, and you just completely are into it. And it's like everything is aligning, right? Everything, connecting the dots on everything. And it's like crazy because I remember, like, you know, when you give a bomb presentation, you be like, yo, like, that was so good. And they're like, oh my God, that is so professional, it's so eloquent. And I'm like, that's because I was throwing out all them terms and they just have to come at the right time, the right punchlines.
Girl, just finesse and talking out the side of your neck, girl. You just, and the thing is, sometimes I don't even really be knowing. Like, I might hear a phrase, I don't even know what it is, but I pick up on the context. So I'm like, all right, I've heard this a couple times. I feel like that makes sense here, so I'm about to throw it out and see what people say. Sometimes you saying it, you don't even be saying it right, but you be like,
for real, yo, that is so real. You really be like, all right, I'm a test and learn. I'm a test and learn with this phrase. Like, that's how I felt about, I feel like people love using the term parallel passing. Child, I did not know what that meant when I first heard it. I'm like, parallel pass? What? Like, it's just like, it didn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, so y'all want to do two things at the same time. So I just started.
No, you should have known that one. Context clues, girl.
Obviously, like, but it's like, why are we using that?
That's the thing. It's like we're saying stuff, making it making it more complex when we could just say what we're trying to say. Like, let's just work on this at the same time. But we're like, let's parallel path, low hanging fruit. There seems to be some opportunity. Like, let's hit the ball running. Let's start this project. It's like we're just making up stuff. But anyway, so like obviously these are like phrases that we use all the time inside the office. But when have you like caught yourself like forgetting the code switch and you start bringing in phrases outside the office, in the office, and then you like, oh, I don't know if they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's been a couple times. I think like it happens the most. I think the funniest times it happens is when I use like more New York lingo, and people, it just goes over people's head. Like I remember I said like, we aligned on something at work, and I was kind of cool with my coworker, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, bet. And she was like, bet, I don't really gamble. And I was like, yo.
You did not say I don't really gamble.
Yes, she did. And I was just sitting there like, you know, when like the words leave your mouth and you just be wanting to retract them right away. Like that. Also, I feel like whenever, this is interesting, like with other POC women sometimes, like maybe my Asian coworkers, I'll be like, sis, and then I'll be realizing we don't use that term outside. I mean, it's like you really have to, I don't know. And with the girl as well, you be like, girl, you know, because you get comfortable, and then you just have to remember, like, ooh, yeah, that's something I would say to Jay. Probably not like Sally. Right.
I love it. Don't just say Sally. But no, I feel like obviously there are cultural terms. Like it's more common to hear like Black women when we talk, girl. Even when I'm talking to guys, sometimes I'll be like, girl, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean to call you girl. But for me, it was one day I think I came back from lunch, girl, and I was like, oh, I got the itis. I said I had the itis, and they were like, Jamie, what do you mean you have the itis? And I was like, y'all never heard that before? And they were like, no. And like one man was really like, do you mean like ISIS? And I'm like,
no, you didn't say ISIS.
ISIS. And I'm like, no, like y'all have never heard like when you eat and you're full and you like you got the itis. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting a little too comfortable. They don't know what I'm talking about. Like for me, I say girl all the time. Like
right, me too.
It's so natural for me. And like I get in good conversation and I'm like, girl. And so I think because I got too comfortable and I started using it, it made my coworkers comfortable and they started using it for me, and then it made me uncomfortable because I'm like, why are you calling me girl? And it's like the exaggeration and everything that I feel like is just so cultural to us. Like,
and it just doesn't sound.
Girl, I'm like, girl, no, I don't want you calling me girl. I feel like I even wrote you one day. I was like, should I feel weird that like my coworker is just like girl, and it's on multiple occasions. It's not just one time. It's just like sis thinks she's my sis. Like,
yo, actually, I think sometimes, like, I think I slipped up and I called like my white coworker who we were cool with. I was like, sis, like I hit her with a sis. And those of y'all who know me, you know I always be saying sis. And she was like, right on, sister. And she added the A, and I said, that's enough. So now I will type it out and I will backtrack, backspace, delete. I'm like, I'm not using that. I'm not using that around. I'll be getting too comfortable. And Meg Thee Stallion said it in her song, don't call me sis because I'm not your sister.
She said, sister.
She said, right on, sister. I said, whoa.
We gotta pump the brakes on that one.
Brakes. We're gonna pause on that. We're gonna take a beat on that. Take a beat.
What? Like, why? But no, like that definitely, like the sis and the dead. Like I will say, oh my god, I'm so dead. I am so
weak.
Dead.
I'm dead. I'm weak. And your coworkers will be like, but you're alive. You're strong. And it's like, ooh, baby.
No, but you know something that like kind of irritates me, and this is kind of off a tangent of corporate lingo, but I like to think that you are funny, I'm funny, and like you know when you're in those settings and it's kind of the small chat before the meetings start, and like I feel like they'll say stuff and it is just not funny to me. I'm just like our senses of humor are like parallel pathing, like or not even parallel pathing, opposite sides of the street. Mm-hmm. And you'll say something, not a line, and girl, you be cracking up. And what gets me is I laugh. Everybody know I laugh at my own jokes. So you on camera keying, and they just like.
And my thing is, thank God for no video. Thank God for no video in the moments where you be having no video, because sometimes people be dropping some little jokes and small talk, and it really don't be funny.
Girl, you be off camera like, what? All right. You know, you be like, hi, yeah.
You know what kills me? Like, okay, shout out to whoever created Microsoft Team Gifts. Like, I don't know who that person is, but find them, tag them, send them this, and shout out to them. Because Microsoft Team Gifts has changed corporate world forever. And I think it's very underrated. Let me tell you, it's very underrated.
We don't use Teams at my new job.
I'm sorry.
I think we have it in Slack. Slack has gifts.
In general, gifts. Let's just what gifts within chat are so funny, and I'm like, why don't we use these more? Like when I tell you there was one meeting, I think I told you the story, Jay, where we were like talking about market growth and profitability, how business was growing and booming, and in the chat, I hit him with that. You know what that is? Growth. That Kelly gift, Kelly from Insecure, when she's with Tiffany and they're laughing and she's like, growth. And when I tell you, it was the perfect punchline. It was a perfect gift.
Perfect moment.
And I'm like, but y'all probably didn't even really get it or appreciate it.
Girl, you probably like, you know, when they post gifts and like 50 people laughing, and you post your gift and it'd be like 2 people. It's like you and the black person. It's like, bro, like what is going on?
No, where you be getting the like instead of the love.
Girl, but you really see the difference, because I did that one time with the Mr. Krabs memes, and it was like It probably was low-key inappropriate because it was like, I think they were being sarcastic in the chat, and so I put that in there because it was a lot of like just confusion happening, and so I brought that Mr. Krabs meme in there, and like I think only like honestly I do think the only people that commented or like responded were like you and like two of my other friends that had.
Oh my gosh! I remember this. Now that you're saying it, I remember this, and it was so funny.
Because I was like, I have to. And I would always, like, for me, if there was something funny, I was always using that Nene gif, you know, when she's, like, sitting on the couch with that blue dress and, like, her teeth are, like, really big and she's dying laughing. I would throw that in every single time. Like, because I am weak and I am dead and this is literally how I am and, like, no engagement. And I'm just like, but y'all said y'all watch Real Housewives. So, like, why are we not laughing at Nene? But...
Is it just girl? Like I be looking specifically for black gifts. No,
because I'm like this is me. I am identifying with my identity and my culture, and I'm going to throw this in there because these are the gifts I use with my friends. I don't even know where to find y'all gifts. I don't even know what to search.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the Office gifts be hilarious.
See, I don't watch The Office.
I don't watch it either, but their gifts are good. So like. And, you know, it's like a relatable show. Everyone knows it. So I feel like it makes things funny. But
I just feel like I need to, you know, increase my gifts anyway. Because I typically use Nene, Portia, or New York from I Love, or from Flavor of Love. And those are the Mr. Krabs meme. Those are my go-tos. So
those are good ones. Those are good ones. Well, I'll use way too many to start listing out the ones I use. What about emoji lingo? Because, like... I feel like not emojis. Like, come on, sis. I'm not 60. Okay, like don't try to play me. Like I don't do that. Like I'm old. Okay.
Honestly, don't use emojis like that.
No, I'm saying like in general. If you're like texting or if you're like you send a smiley face or a crying, whatever. I remember one time I sent my team like the skulls, like I was dead. And they really didn't know what that was. Like, they're like, hey, like, did you send a typo? I'm like, no, like, I'm dead. Like, and it's just funny. And then from that moment on, my coworker would put the skull in our meeting invite. Like, she made that the main picture. But at first, she used the wrong skull. She used the skull with the X on it. And I was like, nah, sis. Like, I just feel like...
I don't even think I know that one.
You're going to have to look it up on Apple, but...
Girl, that is, oh my gosh. So, I just feel like work, honestly, it is funny. Like, when you look back and you start reflecting on it, it's like, what? But, okay, so have there ever been any, like, problematic corporate sayings? Like, you're sitting in a meeting and somebody says something, you be like, whoa, like, why are you saying that? Has that ever happened to you?
I would have to think about that a little more. Like, I know, don't you have a story like that? I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the floor on that one because I honestly would have to think about that. There's been a lot of problematic sayings, but
this one I feel like is something that has been said in corporate, and I was just like, oh my God, like this is weird. So in the context of the conversation, we were talking about just basically like trying to get a partner to move quicker on like a project for us. And so, like, we're talking, blah, 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 and my coworker essentially is like, yeah, we need to crack the whip on them. And I was like,
what?
Girl, I was off camera, right? So this is what it sounds. I was off camera. I'm like, crack the whip. I'm like, this sounds very violent, but also this is like problematic and giving slavery and racism. So like, why? So I'm like, oh my God, like here I go. I gotta go tell her about herself because I don't want her saying this. And also it's just kind of like, we shouldn't be trying to evoke violence on our partners if they're not moving fast enough. So like now let me send her an email, like, let me tell her this. And I'm like going on Google, like, what are the historical contexts of cracking the whip? Because sometimes they act confused. And that was just so problematic to me. But people have said that before in the workspace.
I feel like I've heard that.
Because it also, from what I learned, could be associated with like, I think horse racing or something. And like how but still, it's like, You just got to think about historical context. Even if like that's what maybe a lot of people associate with that, that for me as a Black woman it did not land right.
Right.
It did not land properly. And even if you didn't think it meant that, now I got to let you know, because I don't think you should use that again. But people have said that too, cracking the whip, child. They be trying to crack the whip. I'm like, that is not it.
It's not, especially if you're like the only Black person on the call. You don't. It's no. I haven't. No, I don't think. I can't think off the top of my head if I had like a similar experience. I definitely like just be like, what? Like every time you hear a new one, you know, like, and then everyone starts using it,
like some confused. Like you've had some confused moments.
Oh, of course. Like where you understand, or I mean, like I guess the more violent ones. On the topic of violence and weird, when they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna have to pull the trigger on this, and you're like, oh,
we just need to.
You mean you want me to act fast? Like you want to start some action? Like it's just like, why are we going so hard? But
no,
yeah,
it's funny. I feel like there's been some corporate ones, some violent ones, or some problematic ones, but there's also just been some like. I don't even want to say if it's corporate lingo, but just also like I feel like I need to expand my palette, because I watch a lot and I consume a lot of Black content. Okay, like the TV shows I watch, reality TV I watch, YouTube podcasts I listen to, and so I feel like sometimes when I'm in meetings and like, oh, like what are you watching? I just feel like I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not connected. But I feel like there's a phrase that I had never heard before, and they say it all the time in corporate. And honestly, to this day, right now, I still don't really know what it means, but I've heard it 1,000 times. Right. When they're like, oh, that's just so tongue-in-cheek. That's so cheeky. That's so cheeky. And I'm like, and it's like, why was a problem for me is because they would give it around like creative, and it would be like a point of feedback. And I'm like, I don't even really know what this feedback means. So I'm like, tongue in cheek, do you know what that is?
I've heard it too, and I don't know if it's like a marketing thing, but it's like it'll be like, oh, that's so cheeky. It's really tongue in cheek. Like really, I think that what they're trying to say is like it's cute, it's creative, it's quirky, it's funny, but it's like tongue in cheek. I'm really sitting here trying to dissect what that means, and I can't tell you, sis.
I've never heard that. Like, we do not say that in my circles. We have not said it at my house. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's so cheeky. Like, you just start repeating what they say.
But yeah, tongue in cheek, it's more graphic. But I'm like, what's that? Yeah. I just roll with it when I hear it.
Yeah, I just like, yeah. And then you just be in the back when you don't know what's going on. You just like, ha. You just start smiling. Oh my gosh.
In general, I just feel like corporate talk in general it's just very interesting. It's like so many conversations about the weather. It's like, why are we talking about the weather? Like literally we'll drag it on for 5 minutes in the beginning of every call.
It's sunny. Let's keep it pushing. Like, why are we? It's snowing. It's been snowing for the past 12 days here. Like, why? Girl, no, that's funny. But okay, so kind of switching gears. I feel like all of this has been hilarious. I'm so dead. But we know that sometimes we have to like professionally read somebody. And that is the hardest thing to do, because it's like, I need you to understand what I really want to say, but I can't say what I really want to say. So what have been some of your like go-tos for like
passive aggressiveness?
Yes, passive. That's literally what it is. Like you be
passive aggression. And it's hard because it's like we also have the angry Black woman stereotype on us. So like, you know, we have to be, in order to be successful, we have to be amiable. And we are. Like, we're cool, down to earth people. We're friends with everybody. Like, both of us are social butterflies. But it's times when they really be trying you. So I feel like the way, I don't know, I usually, I really be thinking long and hard. Like, sometimes I'll be having to sit with an email for like an hour to really overanalyze. Like, am I getting the message across that you're trying me? Because what gets me is when they try to act like you stupid in a thread in front of other people. That's the one that gets me. So I'll just have to, I'll hit you with a per my last email, per the below. Appreciate your input on X. Let's align on how we can get to Y. Can you help me understand your point of view?
Can you help me understand? Because I want to make sure we're on the same page, because the way your tone is coming across in this email is that you're yelling and you're being passive aggressive, and I don't like that. I don't like that.
When they try to hit you with that, like, false sense of urgency to be like, this needs to be done now. And I'll hit them with a, okay, thanks for your patience in receiving this information.
Girl, I'll definitely hit them with that thanks for your patience, because they following up. It's like, you just sent me the email. Like, you sent it this morning, okay? And now you're following up by the end of the day. Like, you are not my only priority. You are not my only project. And so that's when I have to go off. I go to the Teams chat. Hey, just want to let you know I got your I will hit them with confirming receipt. I will follow up by X. Like, do not keep emailing me. Like, I'm letting you know that this is the professional. It's been read. Confirming the receipt. Now move along, and you'll get a response when I figure out the answer. Like, sometimes I don't even know what you need right now. Let me go.
They don't sometimes be like, what's the urgency? What's driving the urgency on this?
What's driving the ask? And you know something I cannot stand? I'm just kind of going off topic, but when somebody who is not like really my manager or like a key cross-functional partner brings in be asking me to do stuff, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Description.
Per my job description. What are you asking me for? I don't even know if I answer to you. So like, we take that to my manager if it needs to be done, because she didn't tell me to do that. But girl, I had like one experience where this one girl, she really tried me. And I don't normally have to professionally read people, but like, she was really like, I could just read it through the Teams chat that she was high. And it was like, okay, like, it was something that like happened, and we had come up with like a plan for it, but it's like she kept pressing the issue on like, well, it happened because of X, Y, and Z. And I was like, what more do you want from me? I'm not going to apologize about this again. So then I started to get hot, because it's like, you're typing fast, I'm typing fast. I forgot I was at work, girl. I was like, as I said.
I said what I said.
It wasn't even per my last, as I've already said. And I was like, I hope that you can come to terms with like where we are, because I'm good. And then she knew, they know when you upset, because then they start responding back like, I'm not upset. It's like, well, then why is this tone like this? Because now I'm upset, and you done brought me out of character, and I forgot I was at work, and I'm trying to keep my job. But that happened to me one time, and I was really hot, because it's also this thing of like, I feel like at the end of the day, like, you need to be respectful of people, and just talk to me any type of way. And I'm more upset because I can't really curse you out like I want to. And now you're stressing me out, because now I'm trying to find ways to let you know I'm not the one. And that's what's really upsetting me. I got to reach out to my friends to get advice on how I need to read you, because I don't have the words.
I know. I think for me, I've learned that in order to stay sane, sometimes you have to let it go. And you have to just realize, like, there's times where I'll be like, I'm not that pressed, because this is not that serious. And you're making it really, really deep. And it's like, baby girl, I'm not saving lives and curing diseases. Like, I'm in marketing. You ain't got to press me and stress me over some deliverables. Okay? So I feel like I just need to go. Or I hit them with let me know if you want to talk. Let me know if you'd like to speak on the side.
Yeah, I like to do that too.
Yeah, so I could just explain to them, and, like, talking, because you go down that rabbit hole of trying to like formulate the perfect response, and then it's like, let's just hash it out, because the reality is what you said was probably not even that deep. You and your feelings about
right,
and we just need.
And also, I feel like it's similar to like text. Like, things can get lost in like translation via email or via a chat, because you don't know the person's tone, it's how you're reading it. And so I will definitely say, do you have time to hop on a call for about a quick 5 to 10? Because let's talk about this, because I just like, for me, it's like the respect goes both ways. And like you said, at the end of the day, nothing is really that serious for you to be disrespectful. And half the time it's probably just a miscommunication, a simple, like, we could come to terms, we can become aligned on this if we just talk about it. But I think people I'm just never going to take work that seriously, as I say all the time. So I will never really get upset about anything that happens there, to the point where I need to, where I will start off being aggressive with somebody.
Yeah, like, we'll get upset. Don't get me wrong. I'll be pissed because you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, whatever. But, like, to the point where you feel the need to disrespect somebody and, like, come at them, especially a coworker, a partner at that, it's like, no. Like, I remember that, speaking on, I guess, like, you asked me previously, was there a time where, like, things were misinterpreted? I remember literally getting, like, feedback that I wasn't coming hard enough at people. Like, let's say I was working with an agency or with a partner and they would mess something up. Of course, you hit them with a corporate read and, like, this is not what we aligned to prior. Help us understand the solution. Let's move forward. You hit them with all that, but I'm a solutions oriented person. Like, I'm someone who's like, we can only sit, me, Jay, we can only sit in this, like, going at each other for so long. And so we really just need to move forward. And I remember literally, someone was like, you need to write all that feedback. Like, I had a manager who was like, you need to write that feedback down and you need to come, like, basically, like, give them a lesson. And I remember being like, okay, there's a difference between giving somebody a lesson and holding somebody accountable. And I feel like when you're giving somebody a lesson, that's when all, like, the corporate talk comes in with a little bit of dash of disrespect. And, like, where and I just feel, like, really uncomfortable having to, like you said, professionally curse somebody out when it's like, we just trying to move forward.
So yeah, I feel like I will react, but I don't feel like I'm ever going to be like the aggressor, because I don't feel like I will ever be like that
pressed.
Yeah. So, like, unless like you really disrespect me, and it's like, all right,
now I'm gonna have to let you know. Like, now I'm gonna have to let you know.
You just got to know. Sometimes you just got to let people know I'm not the one, because then they'll think they can continue to, like, run over you. And sometimes it's just like, I have to professionally check you, because you need to understand that there's a boundary. You can run off at Billy, Tommy, and Sally like this, but not me. And so you won't do this again. And let's be clear.
Let's nip that in the butt.
Let's nip that in the butt, okay?
Down to the nitty gritty on why you feel like you could talk to people like that.
Yeah, but no. Okay, all right. It was. I think this is like, I just love talking about this, because I just think it's so funny that we go to work from 9 to 5 and we be on these calls.
It's talking. Of slang. It's like a different jargon, a different lingo. Like, you're literally speaking a different language.
Speaking a different language, and then you hang up, clock out, put your computer down, and you be on the phone talking a whole different language. It's like 9 to 5, and then some different 5 to 9.
Yep. I feel like, I don't know. It's the corporate code switch. That's really what it is. And the thing is, it's crazy because, like you said, I feel like we associate it with whiteness so much, which it is for the most part. But it's interesting to hear, our white friends and be like, oh, y'all not really talking about this? Like, y'all not really talking like this out of work? So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really just like the culture of corporate. And I feel like even if you went into like other industries, they probably have their terminology, their culture as well, where we would be kind of out of place. But again, we know corporate America is rooted in, like,
white supremacy.
Everything. Right. So, like, we know. But yes, y'all, that's all we have for y'all. Again, like, we are so excited to bring video. Hopefully this comes across well. Y'all can give us feedback. Y'all will let us know audio wasn't right, the quality wasn't here, whatever it is, we'll take the feedback.
And also, y'all can comment on extra, like, corporate lingo and phrases that y'all be.
Yes.
I feel like, we only use a couple, but Let us.
I'm sure you have more. We should probably do like a poll or question like that on our story. Like, what are your kind of go-to phrases? I think that'll be good for this episode. But anyways, as always, thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you follow, like, subscribe. Also on like podcasts, you can rate us. Like rate us and leave a review on our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Now we have the video, so you can access this on YouTube. And then follow us on Instagram _OOO after work. You can follow our personal handles. For me, it's _JAYDIANNA. And then for Ness, it is
NESS _Santana, like Jewels, SANTANA.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.